I swear I would never get over. I got to make an intro for myself because that intro way too short. I can't even get mentally prepared. But anyway, welcome
about that.
Everybody back to the AEW Dynamite review show. I am back. I took 3 weeks off. Not my fault. Computer went kaput. Took a long time to fix it. Anybody who has custom PCs, you know the issue when you have a driver that Windows doesn't agree with, and Windows does not agree with your sound card, your graphics card, all of that. So I had to take it, get it fixed. But I am back, and I am joined with the executive consultant. And back again, we have the sheriff. How are y'all doing this evening?
I'm doing well. Apple
first.
is better than Windows. That's all I have to say.
What made you say that just now?
Because he said he was having issues with his computer.
But he shouldn't get an Apple. Like, that doesn't make sense.
No, I said Apple is better than Windows.
No.
It is.
No.
It is.
Only if you're producing music. That's about it.
Oh, no. Only
Maybe.
if you talk about a tablet. That's the only thing Apple does better. Like, no. What? No.
No, I think Apple's better. I stand on that. That's what I said.
Okay. Well,
I don't like the phones, but
we all have our issues where we don't make sense, and you're probably a fan of Regina, Georgia. Or the hell it is.
I've never heard that before.
Hey, you know what? What a great place to have a wrestling show, because all 300 people are going to be there for that nationally televised show are going to be entertained. And hey,
Regina?
I can't wait. Were you not watching Dynamite tonight, darling?
Did they say Regina? Is that what
No, they did not say Regina. I will tell you who said Regina. This person said Regina.
Oh, when he was talking about the places yeah, okay. When you're talking about it.
Speaking of which, how shocked was everybody when they announced Collision's first place is going to take place? It's going to be in Chicago, Illinois. Like, that wasn't first place Rampage was at.
Oh my gosh!
What a major announcement!
It made sense because they took his name off the original docket of names that was promoted for Collision, and then you promote it in Chicago. Who does not think that CM Punk is going to show up in Chicago? He's synonymous with pro wrestling in Chicago, no matter if it's NXT, WWE, Ring of Honor, AEW. If it's in Chicago, you're going to hear a CM Punk chant. So,
not for nothing, the crowd actually popped when he mentioned Chicago, and it's not because they're actually going to have the show in Chicago. They popped because they say, "Oh yeah, CM Punk is coming back." Then that's the only reason how come these people pop. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching Unpopular Review AEW Dynamite Edition. I'm the executive consultant. Z is silent here. The sheriff down there. We're going to talk some AEW Dynamite, and I can't wait to talk about it because this opening match was fire, man. Absolutely fire. Orange Cassidy versus Kyle Fletcher of the Aussie Opens. I absolutely am thrilled with this match. Orange Cassidy is one of the greatest wrestlers in the world. I'm a big fan of Orange Cassidy after actually hating him for months. And this Kyle Fletcher guy, I had no idea who the hell he is. Why is he on AEW Dynamite? I don't understand. I think he's a talented wrestler from what I see, but AEW does this all the time. You're not going to attract wrestling fans, new wrestling fans, by putting up all these wrestlers all in one show that you do not know and should be on Dark first to get some kind of rub before they coming over to their main show. But he had a great match. Still not a Dynamite match to me, but Orange Cassidy, Kyle Fletcher, great in-ring action. What are your thoughts when it comes to this match, you two?
Okay. My only issue with this match is, what is Orange Cassidy's purpose of being the champion? I feel like in professional wrestling, your champion should have some sort of storyline. What is Orange Cassidy's storyline? I'll fight anybody, anytime.
100%.
You had already... The thing about this is I didn't understand why you made a championship match days before you had already promoted Orange Cassidy and being in the Blackjack 21 Battle Royal. That already led me to believe that he was going to win this match regardless. I felt like last week he should have never said anything about being in the tournament. And then if they were going to have this match, You should have then, after he won this match, I feel like then you should have said, all right, there's a 20-man battle royal. How about I make it 21 and I'm going to enter the battle royal as well. I thought that would have been much better. That's neither here nor there. That's a little nitpick. The match, I don't have any clue who Kyle Fletcher is. Never heard of him before in my life. Never. I've heard of Aussie Open. I've heard of every guy in there except for him. However, I was impressed with him, but I don't like the way that they still are making Orange Cassidy seem like an underdog champion at this point. He's been one of the most consistent wrestlers in AEW since its inception, and clearly they have the strap to him. And they got the rocket strap to him. He's getting he doesn't need to be look like an underdog anymore. He's a technician who just doesn't care. But that's his character. I just need more on his storyline. The match I thought was great. I don't know if it was fire to start off, but it was okay. And if I want, this is the last show before they do Double or Nothing, I would want more from AEW as much as Double or Nothing means to that company. It's one of their pillars of their pay-per-views. And I thought that to start it off strong, this was great. And it should have set the tone for the rest of the night, but I felt like it didn't. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Sheriff, what was your thoughts on this match?
A couple things. I'll go back to something the exec said. He said that they never introduced Kyle before. That's not true. He wrestled on Rampage. I think the last episode of Rampage, and he got
but nobody watches Rampage.
Yeah, but you said that they didn't introduce him at all. You said they should have put him on Dark.
He had one match, right? One match.
On Rampage, yeah. You said that they should.
Right, that's not a really introduction. He's had one match and then a second match and a third match. They did the same thing with another young lady later that we'll talk about it. But you know, go ahead. I saw you raise your eyebrow, Sheriff.
Yeah, because you were like, "Oh,"
so I knew you were about to come with the hate.
Nowhere. But I want to be clear. I partially agree with.
There we go. Can I record that? What is that?
This guy. I don't know who Kyle Fletcher is, but I did.
Can you say that again?
Yeah, I can say it again. Are you recording? Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm definitely recording.
Apple is better than Windows. Anyways, so I understood why he was in the match because this is the international championship. And they want to showcase international wrestlers and tap into that audience. And he's from Australia. And he's part of the Aussie Open. So I understood why they put him in the match. But the outcome was very predictable. We knew that Orange Cassidy was going to win. Fun match, but I don't think it. I think it was a weak opener, to be honest.
So what is your grade that you're going to give this? And I'm going to scroll down and we're going to see what an unnamed site gave it because I don't want to give it credit. I shouldn't give it credit, so I'm not going to give it credit.
Okay. I think I could tell what site it is, but regardless. What grade would I give it? I would say maybe a C+. I say C because who is Kyle Fletcher, but I say C+ because the match was fun. So, okay.
I'm giving it a C only because there's no storyline with this. You're coming up on one of the biggest pay-per-views of your company, and your international champion, who I guess this is the secondary champion. I don't know if this is the secondary champion or the TNT is the secondary championship, but either way, this is still supposed to be a semi-main championship, and your semi-main champion has no storyline, and you're going to throw him in a match before he volunteers for a battle royal. I felt like he definitely deserves a storyline to uphold that championship. So the match was good, but for me, sometimes I need storyline with my wrestling. And if you're a champion, I definitely need storyline. But for this, it did not do it. So it took a little bit away from me. If it had a certain storyline with it, I would probably give it a B. But for the fact that it didn't, it gets a C from me. EC, what's your thoughts?
I mean, I give it a B. I give it a solid B. I think it does have storyline. I think the storyline is Orange Cassidy in itself. I think Orange Cassidy, right now we live in a world, right? A wrestling world where they have so many champions. And, Mike Nazi, forgive me for bringing it up. Forgive me for bringing it up. But I'm going to keep it a B. We live in a world now where we have somebody who's about to cross over to a 1,000-day World Heavyweight Championship run. We have the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion in a modern era. We have the longest reigning African American Women's Champion ever.
African American, period.
Yeah. Ooh. You know what I'm saying? We have a lot. The tag team, Usos just lost the tag team championship. They were like the longest reigning tag team champions, right? Who knows what MJF? I don't see MJF losing that title anytime soon, to be quite honest with you, right? Jade Cargill has held that champion longer than any other champion before her because she's the first ever one. It's been over a year. I think Orange Cassidy's one is, if you look at him and everybody else I mentioned, he actually defends the title almost every single week. He's saying bring on all contenders. It's almost reminiscent of John Cena's open challenge that he did with the United States Championship in 2015. And I think that's where they're trying to get at with this thing. And not for nothing, I can be very critical of AEW and storylines right now, but I actually do like it. And not just because I'm a big fan of Orange Cassidy, you know, and I feel like he's booked better than WWE does with The Miz. Yeah, I'm going to harp about that. It's the first time I'm on a wrestling show in a while, so I don't give a fuck if it's AEW. I have a problem with WWE, what you do on The Miz, man. I have a problem, okay? But anyway, Orange Cassidy is out there handling his business. He puts on banger after banger, no pun intended to Sheamus, or no disrespect to Sheamus. He puts on banger after banger after banger, defending that championship. That's why even last week we had that little days ago interview. He said, oh, I can just, or 2 weeks ago, I can defend against anybody, everybody. Oh, just bring them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the storyline, and that's what they're getting at. So even if they put a no-name person that they didn't really introduce, despite what Cher said, they didn't really introduce because they put them on a Friday show that nobody watches, except for the next day when they remember, oh, I can watch this on Hulu or something. Actually, no, they can't. So nobody watches the show, right? Then they decided to pop them on there on your first thing. And remember, in the world of wrestling, your most important matches are your first match and your last match. This might not have been the best match to start off with. However, I think it was very entertaining. It gets a B from me. Orange Cassidy's that man, Kyle Fuller, or whatever your name is.
Kyle Fletcher.
Whatever. See you next week on Elevation.
First of all, if anybody knows anything about skipping in school or skipping ahead, they always tell you when you're reading a paragraph, the only thing that matters is the first sentence and the last sentence. That's everything that I need to know about that whole paragraph is the first sentence and the last sentence. So I definitely agree with you. I wanted something when you open that show has to make me not change the channel. And whatever you have ending the show has to make me sit there after I get done watching it and be like, that was crazy. That was crazy. Yeah.
That was crazy.
And next we had a promo with FTR. I loved it. I love the nostalgic. I love the TNA reference of Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, knowing that they were two arguably top 10 guys of that company in that run that they had with TNA. But more so, I like our home state favorite, Chicken, aka Mark Briscoe, coming out. And listen, he dog smacked Dax Harwood. I thought it added a great element to what we're going to see on Sunday as him being the special guest referee, because he asked him multiple times what was up with that power driver, and you know he gave him the honest response, in which take a shot, reach for the sky, boy. In which everybody saw it was a mistake. The man's eyes were messed up, whatever. But Chicken wasn't going for it. But more so, I like after the fact that he had smacked Dax Hardwood, and then Jeff Jarrett comes down, he gets a bitch smack. The only one that didn't get one was Jay Lethal, and that's because they definitely do have a personal friendship. I thought that was a good element that he added last minute to this rivalry that's been going on for at least 2 months. And I'm here for it. I'm here for this match on Sunday at Double or Nothing. I thought it was a good promo. I thought it was one of the better promos that FTR has had against any tag team. Certainly better than what they had against the Guns. But that run with the Guns was strictly to get them looked at as main event players going forward. But for me, this is the FTR that I would like to see. I get it, they're old school guys, but for me, how I like my tag teams, my promos to get me hyped for a big pay-per-view for a company, I thought this was perfect for them. I could see no wrong with that. This promo for me gets an A+. EC, your thoughts on it?
So you're telling me FTR in a promo, automatically this is going to get a D. Let me tell you why, right? FTR is not entertaining on the microphone. Now, granted, the storyline is not bad. I thought it was a little cheesy with him doing that little skip I've been seeing on Instagram and TikTok lately, where somebody just goes slap happy, because that's what the dude did. He just went slap happy. The only part about this thing, well, no, there was two parts about it. One, I'm glad he slapped one member of FTR, because I feel like FTR needed to be slapped years ago, right? I feel like they just need to be slapped. I feel like the spoiled brats, to be honest with you. I feel like the Acclaims tag team run was ended simply because these two were whining and crying in the back because they weren't the champions and they felt like they were being misused. Because they always whine and cry when they feel like they're being misused, even though they're like multi-time tag champions all over the place, right? That being said, I'm glad to see that that slap. I'm happy to see this that he did not slap Jay Lethal when he said what he had to say, because that was real. And I appreciate, of course it was scripted, but the way he said it, the way he presented the Briscoe bro looked real. And I did like that. I appreciate that. I don't see that out of anybody outside like Eddie Kingston. So I thought it was really, really good. But besides that, it just felt flat for me. It felt really, really corny. And the only reason I'm going to get an F is those two aforementioned things. Well, you know what? Just because it was two aforementioned things, I'll give it a C-. A solid C-. But a C-, much lower than what you gave it, Dice. I can't agree with that. Sheriff, what you say?
Okay. I've never been a fan of Jeff Jarrett. I kind of lead more toward what you were saying about the FTR not being super entertaining on the mic. However,
no double J love over here, huh?
Why every time she show, she always hates that man's 56 years old, looks better than mostly anybody.
You could have stopped after the first sentence.
Like, the mountain slap nuts.
Like, come on. The storyline is not bad, but can we be honest? Like, okay, I don't care about Jeff Jarrett. I don't like Jeff Jarrett, but even apart from that, I do like Mark Briscoe, but he's not the champion. He's the referee, but he's not the champions. This storyline almost has nothing really to do with the titles. And so it requires me to be more invested in the people in it. And because I'm not, it is hard for me to like it. I'm not going to say it's objectively bad, because it's not, but I can't give it more than maybe a B-. So I'll go with that.
You said it has nothing to do with the titles. That's the whole reason how they got the titles, because they went to Mark Briscoe's house to ask them how to beat FTR, because the Briscoes had done it before. Mm-hmm. So it has a lot to do with the titles. It's just that at that point, ever since whatever happened last week, it no longer has to deal with the titles because of the person. Well, 2 weeks ago, when Mark had got power drive, and then the next week Karen Jarrett shows up and she gives a low blow. So you're right. Before 2 weeks ago, it had everything to do with the titles, but the past 2 weeks it had nothing to do with the titles, and is now a personal matter between the teams. But not to say that you're wrong, but I think it does have a lot to do with the titles. Just it hasn't been shown in the past 2 weeks. So I definitely get what you're saying there. That actual promo from this site gets a C+. This is where I think the night dropped for me. C+. It was this right here. For me personally, I love the House of Black. Phenomenal trio. I think that when you talk about the trio's titles are made for a group like them. They're made for the Elite. They're made for Death Triangle. they're made for best friends in Orange Cassidy. But could you tell me who Blake Christian, AR Fox, and Metalik are as a team? AEW then proceeds to say that any three people can deem themselves as a team and challenge for these belts. As soon as they listed that in the rules, I knew it was a loss. Because the only people that are going to beat the House of Black is a team.
Yeah.
The match itself, right? Great high spots. You got a bunch of kicks, you got a little bit of flash, you got a little bit of flair. But for me, this was just a warm-up for the House of Black. I don't think that anybody thought that they were going to lose this. So this is for me where the this is for me, this is where the show dipped off a little bit for me, because I mean, when you have guys that are money like the House of Black, and you put them against three guys that are just put together, it makes it a little bit harder to believe that this is going to be a good match. It was a spot fest more than anything for me that I thought, but I thought that the House of Black looked really strong. We got some good action from Metalik, former WWE guy. And I mean, Blake Christian's pretty cool. AR Fox, I don't know too much about, but what I saw, it was all right. He'll be on Rampage, as EC would say. But I thought it was an okay match. But for me personally, what I like to see in AEW, it dipped off for me a little bit. I'm going to give this match a D+. Your thoughts on it, Sheriff?
He'll be on Rampage. It's funny. I think this is similar to the Orange Cassidy match. Only difference is I'm more forgiving with this just because it was very, very short. I think it was just a showcase for the champions, for the team that people like and they want to see. And like you said, Blake Christian, AR Fox, Metalik, they're not a team. They're not a faction. So it's not really. And the thing is, I mean, AEW is like the land of factions. Everybody's with somebody. So they didn't really have to put together a makeshift faction for somebody to beat. There's factions all over the place that you can have them wrestle with. But if you were gonna have it be like a quick match like this, where it's a quasi squash, then I guess it makes sense to just throw in 3 Rampage guys, so to speak. I don't know if I give it a D. I'm gonna go a C. I have to go a C, just because the match was fun and it was short. But they're at a disadvantage because I gave the Orange Cassidy match a C+, but that's because it was the opener. But then this came after, and so we needed something a little bit more. So because of the spot that they're in, I'm gonna give them less. I'm gonna give them a C.
Fair enough.
I think he thought this was a low point too. He was like, I'm out.
Well, the site that I'm looking gives it a C+. Not bad, but I mean, C+, D, that's fine. Then before we go into a break, we're going to go into these 4 pillars speaking. We had MJF come out, and the one thing that I've been critical about since I've been on AEW Dynamite review show is this storyline, because I get the same 4 stories from the same 4 guys, and it does not resonate with me for whatever reason. Right? Out of those 4 guys, the only one that looks like a world champion is MJF. However, I thought the most important promo out of this whole segment came from Darby Allin tonight, and what he said, and it stuck with me because what he said about living in Seattle in his car, and then AEW came and he drove to LA. And if you're thinking everything that you know about pro wrestling is WWE/WWF, WCW is gone. So everything that we now know about pro wrestling, everything that is mainstream about pro wrestling is all WWE. Clean cut, suit and tie wearing people, nice guys, nice gals, what have you. and MJF kind of fits that mold a little bit. Like he looks like he could, out of those guys, he looks like he could be a WWE guy, right? But Darby comes out and he lives the alternative lifestyle of a professional wrestler. And that's when it hit me. And I thought to myself, I actually believe that Darby could win the world championship based off of that promo, because if you think about AEW is the alternative to WWE. It's an alternative to sports entertainment, right? And the perfect alternative to sports entertainment is a guy like Darby Allin. So I really dug what he had to say on the microphone. But Jungle Boy, it didn't hit with me this week. Sammy Guevara, I love Sammy Guevara. I've been a Sammy G guy day one since I seen him. That his what he had to say fell flat. But for me, I am more interested in seeing Darby Allin and MJF if they are the final two between the pinfall and the finish. I thought the promo between all four of them were great though. I'm going to give it a B minus. Only because of what I didn't like it at first, but what Darby said resonated and made me think a lot more about maybe he could become champion, because I don't think that this MJF run has been great. It's better than the Hangman Adam Page run, but that's not saying much. But I do think it's okay. I think it's a good first run. It's a good first run. Give him a taste of the belt. Give him a taste of the lifestyle, the promos, all of that. It's fine. It's fine for his first time. Now let's get it off of him. Let's see what he can do without the belt, and then we'll talk more about MJF. But right now, I feel like it's a Darby Allin's time right now. I think that his promos are out of this world. He needs something other than Sting to make him popular, and we haven't seen Sting in this whole run of this, which I like that AEW separated that, and you make Darby his own person. Now it's time to continue that, because if he doesn't win, are we going to just get Darby and Sting again? So I thought his promo spoke volumes, and I thought it was what he needed to solidify himself from the other two in Jungle Boy and Sammy Guevara. What was your thoughts on this promo with the four pillars?
Yeah, I think you made a good point about Darby kind of being the anti-MJF. He's the opposite of everything that MJF is. He also said, "I might beat you with a headlock takeover," which noted, because why would he say that if that's not going to... That made me think that Darby might actually win. Also, what you said about MJF's title run being a little bit underwhelming, he is running from that. I know that he's running from that because I know that, number one, he put a lot of pressure on himself, and he has a way that people want to view him, that people still want to view him, that we do still view him. But that's the quiet part out loud that I know he doesn't really want to accept. And that's why he is, like, his promos consistently, like his promo tonight was the best promo. I liked the Darby promo, but MJF on the mic consistently is killing it. Even though this storyline hasn't necessarily been the best, I like it. I'm excited for the match just because I think the concept of it is it's exactly what I wanted from AEW, like when they started. New faces that they are going to trust and give the ball to and let them run with it. Because ironically enough, in the words of CM Punk, how is anybody supposed to get fucking better if you don't give them the ball, give them a chance, let them run with it? So these are your four guys that you put a lot of money, a lot of time into, and you plan to continue to do that. So at some point, you got to trust them to stand on their own, send them out there, see what they can do. Like you said, MJF he's shining the brightest because I think he's the most ready currently. And then I think that number two would be Darby. If anybody's going to beat MJF at the pay-per-view, it would be Darby. Ready after that, I know you're a Sammy G guy. I'm not sold. If I had to, I would pick Jungle Boy over Sammy G.
What?
I would. I would. I think that Jungle Boy is number one. He's more likable. I think he's more likable. I think he's also more how can you say it? I think that he's more versatile, meaning that he can have a good match with more people. I've seen Sammy be a little bit underwhelming, like in certain matches, but whenever I watch Jungle Boy, it's always entertaining. Even if it's not super great, it's always entertaining. Sammy is not always like that, at least to me. So I think he's more versatile in the ring, and so yeah, that I pretty much about the segment. I'm gonna give it a B because I feel like this was actually one of, if not the strongest week for promos, even including for Jungle Boy, who's not the best on the mic. But they had him do a sit down thing where he looked at the camera and he pulled it off. It was pretty good. And so it did its job. I'm excited for the match at the pay per view, and yeah, I'm gonna give it a B or actually maybe even a B plus because you're selling essentially the main event match, and it did that really well. So I might actually say B plus.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the AEW Dynamite review show. We're going to take a quick break. We'll see you guys in a quick minute.
Previously on the Mike Knox Show.
But Brock Lesnar, I've seen this man for 20 years. It's about 20 years. All right, I gotta say, Brock's been around. Okay, I saw this man throw Zach Gowen down the stairs. But this Brock is scary. Look at my face! Look at my face! Okay, let's get ready because for about 20 minutes, all you're gonna hear is this. Do you get sick of it? A little bit? A tiny bit? I don't. Okay.
That is the Mike Knox Show, everybody. You can check him out Mondays at 6 p.m., giving you your weekend wrestling, AEW, WWE, and all topics hot in professional wrestling. We're going to continue on with the AEW Dynamite review, and next up, we had the match between Taya, Valkyrie, and Lady Frost. And if you have been watching since I have been hosting this show, I am not a fan of Taya Valkyrie at all. Nobody's checking for 40-year-old Taya Valkyrie at this point in her career. I'm not going to badmouth this. It was a good outing. I felt like Lady Frost, who also is a Mortal Kombat character, also thought that Lady Frost deserved a much better opponent. She's really dope in the ring. But this was more so to make Taya look like a formidable opponent for Jade Cargill, in which I don't think that anybody thinks that Jade Cargill is going to lose that belt to Taya Valkyrie. I thought that the match was okay. I was more intrigued about Lady Frost's moveset and her in-ring ability more than Taya, because I've seen what Taya can do. And Taya needed to establish herself as a big threat to Jade, and I didn't see that in that match. Not that she wrestled a bad match, it's just that I needed to see more to feel like she could take this title from Jade, and I didn't see it, but she did wrestle a really good match. I thought the match was really good for AEW standards, but if you would have put this match in anywhere else, Impact, WWE, NXT even, the new NXT even, and it would fall flat. But for AEW and how they like to promote their women, I thought it was a good match. I'm going to give it a C plus, only because I definitely think that this back-to-back for the back-to-back matches that Lady Frost has had, this was a really good match for her. It was a good showing of what she can do and how she can be a main player in the women's division in AEW. Like, if AEW women had a secondary division or title or whatever, I believe that she would be in the running for it based off of her skills. It would be like her, Ty Conti, Anna Jay. You can throw maybe Ruby Soho in there. Nyla Rose, even though we don't really acknowledge Nyla Rose because of, transgender, but she would be in that running of that next up woman in that division, because the big hitters that they have right now, they're just too big. They're bigger than both of these women combined. But I did think it was a good outing. It was much better than the previous match that I had seen. So it did get me a little bit more intrigued about the show, and I enjoyed it. I'm not going to say that I didn't enjoy it. I did enjoy it. It was okay. It was nice. I'm going to give it a C. Your thoughts on this, Sheriff?
First of all, hi, Hassan Terrell. Hopefully that's how you say your name. Yeah, there's not much to say about this. I'm giving it a C minus because this is the go home show. Usually the person who's going to lose, they look strong on the go home show. Usually the person who wins tends to look weak on the go home show. That's something that I've noticed. But we all know Taya is going to lose. I gave it a C minus. I would have given it a C if it accomplished what it was trying to do, which is just give her a strong outing to make her look like a formidable opponent. I don't think it did that for the reasons you said. She needed a lot stronger offense. And this was a win. It was wrestled well, but it wasn't it wasn't a domination. And yeah, it didn't do much to make me want to see the match. And this is your go home show, so you have to do that. And so I don't give it a D because it was a decently wrestled match, but it didn't accomplish what it needed to do. So C minus.
Agree. Now, for me, this is the WTF moment of the show. Not the segment in itself. The ending was the WTF moment of the show. Adam Cole comes out, Jericho comes out. They're blabbering off of what they've been doing for the past few weeks, a month or whatever. And Jericho's so great because he knows when the heat is dying, and he immediately says, "Let's look at the clip." And we go back to one of the most savage clips that I've seen in AEW, one of the best clips, even though we've all agreed that it is a ripoff of Randy Orton, Triple H, and Stephanie McMahon. It still was great for AEW standards. It was one of the best segments I've seen in that show, in my opinion, of when he had Adam handcuffed and they just beat Britt Baker like a slave with those kendo sticks. It lit that fire in Adam Cole. And when Adam Cole is more aggressive on the microphone, I think he's a better talker. I think he's more believable on the microphone. When he's calm, I don't believe him. I don't have much faith in him in his upcoming match, whatever. But when he has fire in him, I love it. And then Jericho proceeds to say that there's 5 versus 2. What are you going to do? And I'm thinking, there's no way that this man is going to say Kyle O'Reilly is going to save us. Like, Kyle O'Reilly is going to save us. And he does it. And homicidal, Sabu. Genocidal. Sabu. And at this point, I had walked away. I'm taking a little peek with the bathroom door open. I hear Sabu. I'm like, huh? What's the connection between Sabu and Adam Cole? I did not get that. Cool. It's a great nostalgic moment, and AEW has these ways of making a nostalgic moment come out of nowhere. I don't know if anybody remember when DDP showed up in AEW for no reason. Like, why? You're a WWE Hall of Famer. Why are you showing up at AEW? Like, it made no sense. This made no sense to me. I don't know what the connection is between Adam Cole and Sabu is, and I wish that I did, because it would make a lot more sense for him to bring him out. Great pop, though. I mean, who's not going to pop for Sabu? If you like ECW or you didn't like him, if you know pro wrestling, you're still going to pop for Sabu in some sort of manner. For me, I thought it was great, but up until that moment, those last 30, 45 seconds up until Jericho showed the clip of what happened previously, I was not enjoying it. Because like I said, if Adam Cole isn't energetic, isn't angry, it's hard for me to believe him. But after that, I love the promo. For me, this promo gets a C minus. EC, welcome back. You look worried. You look like you did not enjoy that segment. Your thoughts?
I look like I never worked in the hotel business. It's terrible. But I look like I missed a whole bunch of crap once. I wanted to talk about Lady Frost. I wanted to talk about Sub-Zero F. Because the only thing cold about her was that match. Like, that match was bad. I got awful, and forgive me, I couldn't hear what y'all were saying. I hope y'all weren't praising it, because normally when I like something, y'all dislike it. When I dislike something, y'all
I thought it was okay. I just thought it was okay. I just thought it was okay.
You gave it a D?
I gave it a C.
What'd you give it?
I gave it a C minus.
Okay. I give it a D, and not the D that John Morrison probably gives Taya Valkyrie. Here's my thing, right? That match was not good. Taya Valkyrie is not it. I never thought she was it. She wasn't in NXT. She's barely in an Impact, and she's not in AEW. And she is no threat to Jade Cargill and her band of rotating secondary people, right? It does not make any sense. But I wanted to talk about that real quick. But anyway, as far as this match, this was one of the most entertaining segments of the night. I agree with Dice completely. Adam Cole is a shrimp. And when Adam Cole is being a shrimp, I don't particularly like the smaller guys, but I like Adam Cole because Adam Cole is believable on the mic. He does it very well. He's one of the very few people who are 110 pounds who, when they're saying that they're going to kick somebody's ass, I actually somewhat believe him, right? So I was happy to see Adam Cole talk. I think Chris Jericho played his part very well, but of course Chris Jericho is going to play his part very well because he's the freaking Ocho. He's freaking Chris Jericho. And you know what? He should go around feeling like he's untouchable because if it wasn't for him, AEW wouldn't be as popular as it is right now. But he was the first inaugural AEW World Champion. He did his job very well, and that's why Chris Jericho's the man. This thing was going great. Then I'm seeing and Adam Cole saying like, "Oh, I know it's 5 against 2. We can do math. That's why we called it some help." Here we go. I knew everybody knew it was coming. Everybody was going to get annoyed by it, but hey, it's probably the best thing for AEW right now. Let's bring in that Undisputed Era. Next thing I know, Pepperidge Farm's grandpa comes down here, right? He's looking down here, and he's looking so hurt. He looks like he's in pain walking. But then he heard the fan reaction of the Las Vegas crowd where he lives, right? Because that's why they got him, because the tickets were going a little slow. They're like, who can we bring to draw some tickets? So Liz, that adrenaline came in him. He's like, yes, I got the energy. He pounced down there. He dropped the cane. He pounced down there. He got in the ring. And with all the strength he could muster, he hit with one of these, right? He hit one of those. Then he walked to the other side, and he's still so excited. He's still feeling it. What does he do? Let's hit another one of these. I haven't had one of these pops in 20 years, in 2 decades. And by God, you look every bit of the 2 decades that you has been since you had that match, right? So then he grabs a chair. And he throws it at the guy's head. And Tony Schiavone said, F the no physicality clause. We're not doing that, right? Because Sabu came out there and hit us with this to the original sheet. So it doesn't matter anymore that we did physicality. I'm just going to toss a chair at somebody's head. The odds are even. Because Lord knows when I am getting jumped by 5 men, me and my boy, right? And I was going to say Mike, but Mike's a bigger guy than me. So if me and the technician David Sanderson about to get jumped by 5 guys, right? Lord knows the person I want to call is my grandpa, great granddaddy consultant. Could you please come down and save me? And him and his bag of Pepperidge Farms are going to come down and kick some ass, bro. I love this segment. I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Are you serious right now? You serious?
Sabu came down and he showed all them Jericho appreciation assholes that he was not here for the play. Sabu is not to be played with. This segment gets an A.
You're trolling right now.
I'm serious. I loved it. It was so ridiculous. I loved every single.
Okay, no, absolutely not. I know that Jeff Jarrett fan isn't talking about age. All right,
He's trolling.
okay.
from what I'm looking at, this
I'm not trolling.
sight.
It was the greatest thing I've seen all night. It might have been the best thing I've seen all month for AEW. I am so here for it. Sabu came out there like seriously, I wish I had my cane. I don't have my cane. But he comes out there. And then I saw, you have to watch it. I wish you could do it without copyright. The fans started cheering. Because at first they couldn't remember who he was. Adam Cole's like the homicidal. Nothing? No. The genocidal. Well,
that was a shame that they didn't hit. They didn't
hit. And then they played the music, Sabu. And then he came out. And then after they looked at all the wrinkles, they were like, oh, I know that guy. And he was like, yes, they remember me. And he power walked down there. Power walk. And he got a ring. And just like Hulk Hogan, after he gets beat up and bloody and stuff like that, he hulked up. And he hit him with it. And I was like, yes, yes. I was Daniel Bryan in 2014. I was yesing it up. Yes. I'm here for that. I'm not joking. I'm not trolling. I'm not joking. I loved it. It was so ridiculous. I was so entertained.
Okay, moving. Before we get to the main event, all right, what I like to award as the Snooze Fest match of the night.
Oh,
this match should have been so much better than what it was. I don't understand. Every time they get somebody who can wrestle technical, they put him in with Daniel Garcia, and Daniel Garcia ends up losing. Why? Daniel Garcia should be one of those guys who's on the next level up. He's in my opinion, he's on the level of a Ricky Starks, of a Sammy Guevara. He's on that level. If we're talking about next up technical wrestlers, Daniel Garcia is that guy, and AEW does not treat him that way. I don't understand. Since Sammy Guevara has distanced himself from the Jericho Appreciation Society, Garcia is the next guy up. It's not Hager. It's not Daddy Magic. It's not Angelo. It's Garcia. It's clear, just like the original Jericho Appreciation Society, aka the Inner Circle. It was never who I'm about to say Hernandez and Homicide. Jesus gosh. Ortiz and Santana. It was never Ortiz and Santana or Hager. It was Sammy Guevara. And now Daniel Garcia has taken the role of Sammy Guevara, but for some reason he's not getting treated like that. But I thought this match was okay. Like I said, when you got two guys that are technical as these guys, I expected better, especially if this is your match before your main event. So this is the main course before your dessert. The main event is the dessert. And this did not get me to. It was if I didn't have to do a review show, this might have been the main event for me. I might have cut this off. I might have cut it off. I might have cut the whole broadcast. Only because Daniel Garcia can wrestle circles around half of that roster, and they treated him because Roderick Strong is like what, in his third match in AEW. I thought that was wrong. I thought the wrong person won this match. It should have been Garcia. Even you could have a double count out, whatever, make both of them look strong, but you continue to make Daniel Garcia wrestle these people back to back to back, have a good showing, and he loses. Where's the payoff for this? Where's the payoff for him? Sheriff, your thoughts on Daniel Garcia versus Roderick Strong?
Yeah, I agree with you. The wrong person lost. I'm a fan of Daniel Garcia. I do also think that he's a guy that they should really, really push. They had something with the storyline with Bryan Danielson. I think he should have and still should get away from Jericho. I see him. When you said that he's like Ricky Starks and Guevara, I see him as if he was in the company, like in the beginning, he could have been a pillar. Like I see him as that. He's okay on the mic. He could do a little bit better, but if you give him good material to work with, he can hit it out the park. I also see him as a guy who, if MJF does get out of the pillar match with the titles, they could have a really, really good feud together. But unfortunately, they just haven't built Garcia like that well enough. He could have been a lot further along than he is. And then you have him losing to Roderick Strong. Nothing against Roderick. He's okay too, but yeah, I believe in Garcia. The wrong person lost. The match itself was okay. I would give it C+. Not B because it didn't do what it needed to do, which is have Garcia win. But it wasn't a bad match, so C+ is fair enough.
EC, your thoughts on this?
You know, before I tell you this thoughts, I didn't get or hear, and forgive me guys, I know I had to take a phone call, but I didn't hear Shara's thoughts on the homicidal, genocidal, suicidal Sabu.
I
unironically
unironically liked that segment. I understand why in the beginning when before they showed the clip to Cole where he was low energy, I could see what you were saying about that being not as strong as the second half of the promo. I popped for Sabu. Yes, it made no sense, but when your owner is a billionaire, Mark, you get to throw money at Sabu and have him show up on your show. So I would do the same if I had my money. I was happy to see him. I don't know how that evens the odds, but it'll be. I mean, that guy's willing to.
Did you not see him throw a chair at the guy's head?
He's willing to do. It's like how Ace Steel even the odds for Punk, but with just himself. So I'm excited. I think it did what it needed to do. I think Cole had really, really good lines about breaking bones and stuff like that. You could tell he was fired up. It did what it needed to do. It sold that match. I want to see it more now, and it's a plus. I get to see Sabu too. This is the go home show. You got to pull out all the stops. Also, I think Sabu lives in Vegas, so I think that was the connection there. I also think Ryback lives in Vegas.
Ryback would have made, honestly, Ryback would, from a physical standpoint, Ryback would have made more sense. But Ryback is so.
I thought that's who he was going to go. I was
from
like,
a wrestling standpoint, Ryback makes no sense. He can't wrestle. He's worse.
Right, but he's more imposing if they're still going to be outnumbered.
I thought exactly. I thought they were going to be like,
Ryback, if you want to be serious, Ryback is worse than Shotzi.
No.
Ryback sucks.
Yeah.
No,
he's injured everybody he's been in the ring with. He's injured.
Can I ask you a question real quick, Dice? How long?
How long what?
How long you been smoking crack? Because there's no way in hell you're going to sit here and tell me that Shotzi is a better wrestler than Ryback.
I didn't say. I did not say that Shotzi was a better wrestler than
Shotzi
Ryback.
came out on Monday Night Raw. You know, first of all, every time you have a match where they have vacant there, you're like, who's going to be vacant? Who's going to be vacant? You have an obligation to make vacant be that man, be that N-word, be big time Bex, right? It has to be somebody huge. So I'm like, who's going to be the partner? Who's going to replace Liv Morgan, right? I said, is it going to be Lita, right? Is it going to be a returning, I don't know, Ivory or something like that? No. Who they give me? They give me Shotzi Blackheart. Give me a freaking break. Give me a freaking break.
I'll be honest. I don't watch the E, so I don't think I've ever seen a
Well,
Shotzi
you know what?
match.
You know what? If Shotzi's on my screen, you don't need to watch the DM. Okay, you're done. All right. Shotzi ain't it.
Long.
She is horrible. Bocce, as I call her, came out and then she did a suicide dive and she almost went completely over both women. She had to be in the match because two women were injured last week from a match. She almost injured two more. Like she is. Please stop. Please stop with the bocce. But this match, let me tell you, I hear y'all. And I hear the Daniel Garcia love. So you know, if you two love it, I'm not. Right? I'm just going to put it in perspective for y'all of why he ain't hit it. He won a title in AEW. I don't remember which one because AEW has more titles.
It was the ROH one.
I'm glad you knew that because I can't keep up. Right? I think he only had it for like a cup of coffee anyway. Right? This is Dale Garcia. Right? I hear the deep press, so you must know where I'm going. Right? This man is not selling no tickets. First of all, he can't even talk to the mic. Remember I said Adam Cole has a similar body style, but when he talks to the mic, I believe him. I don't believe this guy. You ever seen that TikTok where midget's winding up like he's about to do something and then somebody in the next skit just kicks him? You know, he's like an action figure or something. That's what I think of when I see this guy. Who the fuck are you? That guy can't sell tickets. This guy sells tickets. Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
Oh my God. In 2023,
Look at this guy.
we're still doing this.
Look
In
at this
2023, we're still doing this.
2023
You
is a
think that
number.
the only people who have ever sold,
Okay, hold on.
you think the only
hold
people who have ever sold tickets are people who look like Brock
In
Lesnar?
2005, right? That is a number of when this thing sells. This is 2023. I completely agree, right? But 2023 is also a number. And in 2023 and 2005, this guy is 110 pounds, which is a number that sells you 500 tickets. And this is a guy that weighs 286 pounds that sells 10,000 tickets. It don't matter what year.
It's
This
too much
guy,
math.
y'all
I
just
can't
said
do the
it.
numbers.
This guy just lost to Maria Shafir's husband, right? Roderick Strong came and picked up exactly who was NXT. He said, Sean, I want to leave and I want to go join my friends in AEW. And I'm going to be a big star. Just you watch and wait. I'm going to do things completely different. He goes there. I'm still seeing him do this. Adam Cole, baby. Like, nothing's changed. But he did pick up a W because he beat Daniel Garcia. We're about to, hey, you know what? Also, I want to shout out Sheriff because she said, or Dice, one of them said, that the contract signing did what it needed to do because it sold the match for you. The match was already sold to me, but it did sell it even more. And another promo I saw earlier, which I don't know if you two talked about it, I apologize once again, was Daniel Bryan and John Moxley promo where they talked about.
I did not get into that because I was about to get into it before we get into the main
Let's
event.
take a last commercial break. I saw Mike Knox, and I said, here's a joke, and I should have said this on air, but whatever. But I saw a Mike Knox commercial, and I said, oh, great, I have time. It was not too quick. I was so bad. Ladies and gentlemen, final word review on UPRE. Stay with us. You're watching Unpopular Review.
Greetings. Ajikat Techno-Industrial Complex.
Oh, damn, that's embarrassing. Hey, stay with us.
Our great city is being destroyed. People want justice restored to this world. People want heroes, Miss O'Neill. Heroes are not born. They're created. That's what your father and I were trying to do. Create heroes.
Greetings. Ajikat Techno-Industrial Complex, where I might obtain 2 or 3 semnuts of platinum paste.
This time of night, huh?
This is the story of 2 aliens, Beldar and Primat.
Dear Square Good, I have re-radiated leftover starch discs.
Ah, pizza. I will enjoy it.
Do not sear the top of your neck hole.
For them, it was a chance to build a new dream.
Where are you from? From France. I come from France.
On heads.
Are they from another planet?
If they're not, we should nuke France right away.
Our great city is being destroyed.
This obsession with humans has to stop.
I just want to know more about them.
Your father wants you to stay as far away from the human world as possible.
Can you help me?
Ariel killed the prince yet?
Not kissed, you bird brain.
Poor child.
The Sea Witch?
What has your father told you about me?
You like to stir up trouble.
I'll make you human for 3 days.
Is that even possible?
It's what I do.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, UPR East presenting you Little Mermaid coming out Sunday, reviewing on Sunday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Coneheads tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Michael Bay edition coming out Tuesday at 8:30. But we're talking about AEW Dynamite, starring your boy the homicidal, genocidal, suicidal Sabu.
Starring. He's starring now.
It's starring. He's starring because he's the highlight. Hey, shout out to Sheriff because she was like, we're still doing this in 2023. Yes, Sabu says we are, mofo. We are still doing this in 2023.
No, Sabu didn't say that.
He said, what did the 5 chairs say to the face? Slap. That was
God. Going into the last match of the night, the main event. The BCC, Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta versus the Lucha Bros for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. BCC is on fire. They are on fire right now. They can do no wrong. Ever since Bryan Danielson came back and they got rid of Regal, BCC has been the absolute most on fire constant in AEW, A+ across the board. If you can applaud the Bloodline in WWE, there's no way you can look at AEW and not give the same applause to the BCC. It's been slow burn. It's been methodical. It's been entertaining. It's been evolving. It's been everything that you would love about the Bloodline. It's been all of that in AEW. This is the one constant that this is the one constant that makes me regularly tune in to AEW. It is definitely the BCC. The promo that they cut backstage before, like an hour before this, chef's kiss, money all the way around. You got the two mouthpieces and Danielson and Moxley speaking for the group, in which they always should, and they are sticking with that formula. One, you got Danielson, who is just super smart and intellectual on the microphone, but he's also aggressive. And then you got Mox, who just does not give a damn. He don't give a good dog damn about what anybody got to say. And he wholeheartedly believes that he is the best wrestler in the world. He wholeheartedly believes that his crew is the best crew in professional wrestling. And when he speaks, everybody listens. So we're going into this match with the Lucha Brothers, Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. Across the board, entertaining. I've never seen a bad Lucha Brothers match ever. I've only been introduced to them in AEW. I went back and watched a bunch of their stuff in Lucha Underground, only because in AAA, only because it comes on Pluto TV and they just come on there when I'm randomly sleeping and I just wake up and it's there. But I've never seen a bad match between them. Rey Fenix and Pentagon, arguably top 4-5 in the world tag team. Wheeler Yuta, Claudio, that team doesn't for me, that team of them two doesn't really work for me personally. I would much rather see like Claudio and Danielson or Wheeler and Mox. I feel like those two matchups as partners kind of mesh a little bit better. But for me, Claudio and Yuta don't really mesh like as a team together. But they had nothing to do with their in-ring chemistry. It's just their move sets, what they like to do. They don't play off of each other very well, in my opinion. But I thought this was so dope. This is definitely a main event that you want to close a show out with. If you could have given me this main event and in the rest of your show look like your main event or close to your main event, across the board, this is an A+ show. This is an A+ go home show before Double or Nothing. But if you want to get me to talk about your Double or Nothing pay-per-view that's coming up on Sunday, this is the perfect match to get it to it. Young Bucks come at the end. For a minute, I thought that the BCC was going to win it. I really thought going into this match, the BCC was going to win. Because why not? wrong. The Elite are the underdogs. They're continuing to look like the underdogs. That's when everybody loves them, when they are the underdogs. Because once they get to their goal, sometimes their gimmick kind of mails it in a little bit, in my opinion. And some people are better chasers than champions. And I think that they are better chasers. But once they get to that plateau, it kind of falls for them. But I think that this iteration of the Elite, of the story that they're telling with Adam Page joining back with them to face the BCC, all around masterpiece with them. I love what the Young Bucks did, adding another element to make me want to watch Double or Nothing in Anarchy in the Arena. For me, this gives it gets an A+ for me. Because this is, I thought, for a night of AEW, this is how I will want to close the night, because if I was not even doing this show, at least this is on my mind the next day when I wake up, because I'm going to look at wrestling news, because I want to look at what people thought about this match. EC, your thoughts on Lucha Brothers versus BCC and Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta?
I will say this. Hey, I think the Lucha Brothers are one of the best tag teams in the world. I've always been a fan of them, and I always will be a fan of them. That being said, I'm going to ask a question. It's going to sound like I'm joking. I'm not. I'm dead serious. When did the Lucha Brothers become the ROH Tag Team Champions?
I'm pretty sure it was the last Ring of Honor pay-per-view show.
Pretty sure. So you're not even completely sure. One thing I liked about that promo, I said I love the promo, right? I admit I love the promo. John Bryan's cold. You know, I wasn't a fan of BCC. I was a fan of the concept when William Regal was with them, but it weren't clicking for me completely. Since William Regal left, you hit the nail on the head. They've been doing great. They're one of my favorite matches. Now, I won't go as far as saying they're my favorite. I won't go as far as saying they're my second favorite. That's between the Bloodline and the Judgment Day. But they are fast approaching a really close number 2. From they're 3. Really close to number 2. But my problem is they have some of the greatest wrestlers in the world in that faction. They got Cesaro, they got Daniel O'Brien, they got Dean Ambrose.
Daniel O'Brien.
But Cesaro is your Ring of Honor World Champion that they treat with less respect than your TNT champion, which they kind of mentioned tonight. I got a problem with that. If you're going to keep using him like this, not saying they're not showing him respect, I'm showing the title that y'all spent so much money for. If you're going to keep doing that, just let him drop the title. He went through that whole thing about how he had to come back because Chris Jericho escalated that, because that's what they like to do. Hey, we need to escalate the world title. Let's throw it to a Jericho. So that's when he had the Ocho thing, and then Cesaro win, and he's like, I got to win it back, and he won it back. But he's barely done anything with it since, because he's in this feud, and I think it takes away from that. So I have a problem with that. Besides that, there's just like you said, the Lucha Brothers, I have never seen have a bad match. I discovered them in Major League Wrestling a while ago, and I loved them then. I became a fan of Major League Wrestling in 2018 every single week because of the Lucha Bros. Matt Riddle was the main event. Matt Riddle versus Shane Strickland was the main event the first one. Where I saw Matt Riddle. Here's a fun fact, and Matt Riddle and I are friends now. But here's a fun fact. I saw Matt Riddle. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? This guy's never going to make it.
Is Matt Riddle Charmaine friend, or is he actually a friend?
No, Matt Riddle's a real friend. Matt Riddle's a real
Charmaine friend.
Matt Riddle's Charmaine friend. Okay, let me show you. If I were to go and say Pentagon is a friend, right? This is why I would say Pentagon's a friend.
That looks like friendship to me.
So if I'm Charmaine, I know Pentagon. We hanging out back. Huh?
I'm not letting another man pour tequila in my mouth.
Hey, they just won the Major League Wrestling Tag Team Champions. He was like, come on over. And I was like, huh, me? You know, I did that dumb look that people do. You talking to me? He was like, yeah, come on. And I can hear him say, come on, man, we're on TV. You ain't got all day. I can hear him in his mind saying that. And I went over there, I took a shot control. I was already 3 sheets to win. But whatever, like that. So if I'm Charmaine, then we're Pentagon our friends. But realistically, Pentagon don't know who the fuck I am. I can walk across the way now. He ain't gonna know it's that guy, right? But Matt Riddle and I are legit friends. But anyway, so here's the thing. It's just funny because I never knew we would become friends later, but whatever. But they were great. But Major League Wrestling used to be the shit, man. They had the Lucha Brothers, they had Riddle, they had Strickland, they had John Moxley, they had Swan, they had MVP, they had MJF. And when I saw MJF the first time, I said, that's going to be a star. That's going to be a star. I never would have guessed he would have main evented the pay-per-view of AEW in Las Vegas, Nevada against 3 little cousins of his. I never would have guessed that. But it's amazing that
I thought Hammerstone was going to be a star. Well, I guess he is a star, but I thought he was going to.
He's still a star there.
He's a star there, yeah. I thought he was going to, yeah.
You know, and not for nothing, one of the things I always will say about AEW, as much as I appreciate the fact that WWE has competition, and they're not really competition, but they have competition. I don't like the effect that it's had against the other markets. Like Ring of Honor, pretty much AEW put them out of business as far as I'm concerned.
No. I hate when people say that. Mm-hmm. Ring of Honor was going out of business anyway. They were mismanaged. They had no money, and people weren't going to the shows.
Let me take notes because I want to hear about all the bullshit that you're about to spew about why AEW is not.
They had no money, and people weren't going to the shows.
Really? Okay, let me ask you a question. What was All In?
What was what?
All In. The pay-per-view All In.
That was a Ring of Honor show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And who
that was? Huh?
Who are the main players of that?
The Elite.
Right.
Cody Rhodes.
And who are they with?
Well, Cody, but they weren't actually. They were with a bunch of different companies.
Yeah, but who are they primarily with, dear Sheriff?
I don't know if they were primarily.
They were with Ring of Honor. When AEW
they were also
was created,
with New Japan. I don't know about that.
When AEW was created, they stole all of Ring of Honor's wrestlers, and they stole all of MLW's wrestlers and Impact Wrestling's wrestlers. They did.
You mean that Ring of Honor didn't have any money to keep them? That's not.
Well, if you're going up against Tony Mark billionaire that like you just said, then of course you're not going to be able to compete.
That's like saying that WWE stole CM Punk from Ring of Honor.
Yeah, see, that's different. Yeah, let me tell you why it's different.
Go ahead.
Because I'm talking about a conglomerate of people. You're talking about one individual person. He went. Tony Khan said, "Hey, actually, Tony Khan gave Cody Rhodes because I still say if it wasn't Cody Rhodes, there would be no AEW." Tony Khan went to Cody Rhodes and said, "Here's a blank check. Here's a blank check. I need you to go find some wrestlers and offer them whatever they want so they can come join my company so I can go against the E." And he went. He got all his buddies from AEW. He went to MLW. He stole a lot of their wrestlers, and the same thing for Impact Wrestling. Pentagon and Bray Phoenix were killing on Impact Wrestling MLW at the time. Ring of Honor was completely surviving around the Elite at the time. And they all went to AEW.
That was that one show. That was that one show that they all come on. They weren't consistently pulling all in type shows. Like that.
They weren't. You're right. You are absolutely right. But Ring of Honor was the number 2 promotion in wrestling in America. Yes or no?
Sure. I don't know about that. MLW.
They were number 2. MLW was
Lucha
3.
Underground.
No. They were 2. Impact Wrestling was 3. MLW was 4. And they all went downhill. Now, granted,
where do you put Lucha Underground there?
Lucha Underground was about to go out of business.
So was ROH. I mean, fair enough.
What were we talking about? This match is fire. You can't have these 4 people in the match. Yeah. I'm sorry, you can't have 3 to 4 people in this match and not be fire. But that's not saying anything negative against Wheeler Yuta, who's obviously not the good 4th man. He's still a solid talent, but I have seen matches that I was not entertained with him. So I'm not taking anything away from his talent, and he did his job in this match. But I'm saying in general, I won't see a Ray Phoenix, Pentagon, who I think is like one of the best wrestlers in the world, and Cesaro, who I also think is one of the best wrestlers in the world, in a match, and it'd be bad. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah. And we went on a tangent. I don't have a lot to add here. I pretty much agree.
You did go on a tangent. Shame on you.
No, you did. But I'm gonna say A for this. I think that this was for a go home show. Like this is the kind of main event that you want to put on. It was a really solid match. And we had 3 champions in the match. You always want to see that. I agreed with. I do think Wheeler works better with Moxley. I do think that that's true. But yeah, I mean, I can't really say anything bad about it. I'm excited for the pay per view. Yeah.
Yeah.
So overall, how are we rating
the final AEW Dynamite before Double or Nothing?
C+.
The reason how come it's going to get a B from me is for one reason and one reason only. I got to see the homicidal, genocidal, suicidal Sabu come out and throw a chair at somebody's head. That sold it for me.
That did happen.
You can't tell me nothing after that.
That did happen. That is true.
He's trolling right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize.
This episode was homicidal, genocide.
I'm going to give this a C. I've seen better go home shows from AEW, especially with the storylines that they have going right now. I thought in place of Jay Cargill and Taya Valkyrie, you could have did something with the Social Outcast versus Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. That's been kind of downhill because we haven't seen Jamie Hayter in like 2 weeks. Instead, we're getting Hikaru Shida. They've definitely been treating Jamie Hayter's run like it's a toy. I thought you could have substituted that. You could have did something better with Ricky Starks. That's just me being a Ricky Starks mark. I'm sick of him and Juice and Jay White, who had the worst AEW debut in the history of AEW debuts. But for me, it's just a C. Not bad, not good. Could have been better. I feel like it was lazy booking, so it's C for me.
What do you have against the Bullet Club?
Huh?
What do you have against the Bullet Club?
I don't have anything about. I mean, I don't have anything, against them. It's just the way that like AEW makes them seem like they're a big deal, and they haven't seemed like a big deal even with what they do.
You know when I feel like they went downhill?
Huh?
You know when I feel like they went downhill? When they were in Ring of Honor, and Ring of Honor was put out of business pretty much by AEW. Yeah. I think that's when they went
Bullet Club ain't been the same. Bullet Club ain't been the same.
Sorry, I'm allergic to bullshit. That was like
Bullet Club has not been the same since Cody Rhodes left.
That's why you haven't been to AEW.
Finn Balor left, since AJ Styles left.
That's not true.
There you go. That's a riddle.
Y'all look.
There's
high.
your boy. Well, I wasn't, but I can tell you that right now.
That was quite the family photo.
I forgot when that was. That might have been his birthday.
As we get ready to sign off here tonight, EC, what do we have coming up next? Top 5 tomorrow. What we got?
We don't have top 5 tomorrow, actually, believe it or not. We actually have a prediction show in this place. Night of Champions, also NXT Battleground prediction show. As you know, this weekend is a big, huge pay-per-view / PLE weekend. So tomorrow, tomorrow, Captain and Bad Guy Jack will be predicting their predictions for Battleground as well as Night of Champions. Also tomorrow, we have Coneheads on UPRE. And coming up this weekend, we're going to have a prediction show for AEW Double or Nothing. Looking forward to that one, as well as Little Mermaid on Sunday. Review show immediately after Night of Champions on Saturday. And we'll talk about Battleground immediately after Battleground. And we'll see what's up with Double or Nothing. That might be a little bit tougher because AEW pay-per-views tend to run a little long lately on the Sunday night. So we'll see how that goes. But look forward to that prediction show coming out possibly Friday or Saturday. We'll see. All right.
Jam-packed next 4 days of entertainment for everybody. And as we sign off for Sheriff, for the executive consultant, I am the almighty Dycezman, aka the Z is silent, but I am elite. And in the words of Shannon Sharp, yeah, I like fried chicken. I like chocolate too. But if I got the fried chicken, what the f I need a chocolate for? Live hard, love hard, live well, drink and be merry, and reach for the sky, boy.